I'm sitting down with Natalie for our weather wisdom this morning, and we're talking about these pesky little apps and the predictions that they make.
So I was inspired because Alex told me yesterday that her husband looked at the weather app saying that it was going to snow how many inches?
6 to 9.
6 to 9 inches today, last night into today. So obviously that didn't happen. It did snow a little bit more closer to Cincinnati. But obviously that was not a very accurate forecast. So when it comes to winter weather forecasting in your weather app, a lot of times it's just going to pull raw model data, and a particular forecast model is just going to pick a forecast, and that's what you're going to get on your app. But there's a lot more to forecasting than just looking at one particular model, and the reason why is because things can change very quickly over the course of 10 days. So we're going to play a little Plinko or Forcast-o into how this plays out. So about 10 days out, you have your little Plinko chip, and that drops, and you have any range from 0 inches of snow to a foot of snow, and multiple different options due to the wide range of possibilities that you have from the top all the way down to the bottom. And as those initial conditions change, that will change that forecast. So as you get a little bit closer, you have less options. So heading closer into 3 to 5 days out, you have more of a range between 4 to a foot of snow. So at that moment, you're like, yeah, I know it's going to snow. We're going to see some impacts, but as far as how much, it's a little up in the air. That was very similar to our last system where I knew we were going to get about 4 inches of snow, but there was a likelihood of seeing even more. So that's why you want to wait until you're a little bit closer into that forecasting range. About 3 to 5 days out, we have a good idea. We have a storm system that's heading in this weekend. It's about 3 to 5 days out. For the most part, we know our precipitation type. I know it's going to impact our region. We will see some rain. We have the potential for some snow, but I cannot give you specifics on numbers just yet because there's just a wide variety of options.
There's too much unpredictability, I feel like.
Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of like the butterfly effect. Yeah. If one little thing changes, then the whole course of that forecast could change a little bit. But typically within about 5 days, we have a good idea that there's going to be an impactful system. And I mentioned this to you earlier that I like to focus on impacts first. So 3 to 5 days out, I'm likely not going to give a forecast with numbers because those numbers can change, but I can tell you that this storm is going to impact us. The roads are likely going to be slick, and then heading into 1 to 2 days out, that's when I'll be able to be like, all right, I think we're going to see this much. I'm much more confident in giving those forecast numbers.
Well, that's kind of the danger about giving that number so far out because it can change so much. And I mean, how many times have you seen the Miami Valley in that rain snow line? I can't tell you in the almost 14 years I've worked here how many times I've heard that. And it's just, you know, we've got the cold air from the north and the warm air from the south, and you just never know how it's going to meet.
Well, to put things into perspective, if you have a storm that hasn't even made it on shore 3,000 miles away, it's hard to depict where that a mile or two with that rain snow line is going to set up. So.
100%. All right, Natalie, thank you so much. I always find these so fascinating, I'm not going to lie.